All right, this is the segment that will discuss issues in the society, and we have a guest in the house that will be discussing along our topic with us. He is Olakunle Sani. He is a national coordinator of Child Protection Network, and he is here to talk about our teenagers, talk about our children, and he will be giving insight about them. Good morning, Mr. Sani.
Good morning. Good to be here.
You're welcome. Here again. You've been here a lot of times. It's been a while. You're welcome to the program. And our first topic that we'll be discussing this morning is sexual exposure of teenagers. Who should be blamed? And we have something to show you about that. There's a caption that will be showing you as we go on the program. We saw a 14-year-old impregnate two of his friends in a public school here in Nigeria, and we thought it that said, why will a 14-year-old be exposed to sexual intimacy? When did it start? How did it start? And we want to look at it and dissect it. For you, do you think it is the normal thing to do? I know it's not a normal thing to do. For a 14-year-old, a boy, no.
It's, I mean, like you said, it's absolutely wrong to have a 14-year-old engage in sexual activity, any kind of sexual activity, not even penetrative sex, even kissing, sexting, and the rest of that. But you know, but the thing about it is that the way we look at issues of sex between the child and an adult will be different from the way you look at it between children. Okay. So you want to look at them both as victims. Yes, even though one of them is perpetrator, but you still want to look at that perpetrator as also a victim because he or she
is it because of the age?
Because of the age. Because the child
is minor.
Minor, and children only exhibit what they have been, what has been incorporated, maybe what they've seen, what they've gone through, and so before while administering corrective measures, you also want to consider how come this child gets exposed to this? What made this child do this? Has the child been exposed herself or himself? Maybe that child has been exposed to sex as early as, and you know many things go on with boys that we don't get to know. Nobody talk about it because it's a boy. And you know these are the boys that grow up to become sexually very active.
And they will tell us the men's world.
Yeah, and they become perpetrators too because they feel anybody can do it and go away with it. So you want to treat it that way. While, like I said, while administrating that, it does not mean that because it's a child you will not administer corrective measure. But yet, while doing that, you want to look at it that this is a child that needs to be rehabilitated so that he or she will not continue that into adulthood. So you want to look at what are the causes, what are the things, who are those that have exposed this child. So if everyone is doing their own thing the way we're supposed to do it, then children will not be seeing so many things that they see. I mean, these days you go on the internet, you see social media, and before you go about 5 scrolls, you will have seen several pictures, videos, images of. In fact, I'm sorry to my other gender, but you know, I read something somewhere that somebody said, that you could see why our fathers in those days never wanted a girl because it's because it is the girls that you see. Many of them, they're talking about, when they are not talking about, I know children are watching, children maybe, so I want to use, when they're not talking about different part of private part, they're talking about how to engage in active sex. You know, a lot of things now go on the social media that, in fact, if you are not careful, if you don't know how to use this mobile, your child will just be exposed to too many things. Because as an adult, you can still withstand it, but the child is still growing, the child is forming. Because many of the things that we even as adults do today, there are things that we learn or we encountered as children. And so it's important that these things are not supposed to be happening to the children, but when they happen, we have to look at it critically and say, okay, what do we need to do? And part of what we need to do, everybody needs to take responsibility. I mean, we don't have to shift blame any longer because when it happens to that child, even though that child is not my child and it's the other person's child, I don't know where that child is going to encounter my own child. And so when they come together, it means that if I fail to protect this child now, his other person's child, this other person's child will come to influence my own child as well. And you know, these things are sweet things. I mean, these things that we're talking about. So there are things that will normally want to stimulate the action or the interest of the child, of a normal child. And because as they are growing as children, at 14, 15, a child normally should have desire towards the opposite sex.
Okay, it is natural.
It is natural because it is biological. I mean, the girl is becoming a woman. The boy is becoming a man. So all the features of a man, all the features of a woman will begin to exhibit. So it is natural for that girl to begin to feel that way. So it is now for the society to take responsibility and say it is not time for you to be exposed to these things. And so if the girl now comes to you and is shaking her body, you will not say, oh, this girl is, she's asking me to come. But rather you say that, okay, this girl is only exhibiting the natural things in her. So rather, she needs to be guided now. That, okay, it is not yet the right time for you to go into this, even though your body is now calling and making you feel that you need to do that, or the boy wants that. So, but because we are not taking responsibility, that we exploit these girls or these boys because of these natural feelings that they have. So it's just a time for us, everyone, to take responsibility. I don't like to really talk about who to blame. Because when we look at who to blame, then it means that the rest of us will go to bed and sleep and say that you are the one that's supposed to be doing it. And rather, we know that the child, protecting the child, like we say.
Okay, talking about this, what are the sexual education that should be taught from childhood now? Because we know that children these days tend to have this computer age mind thing. They want to explore the screen. They want to see what is happening, especially when you put your phones down. Before you know it, they must have started scrolling and seeing things, even without you knowing a lot of it. So how do you start educating them? What are the things you must educate them about? I know that nowadays there are some things you must not say. When you say it, then you become a bad child. And that is not, for me, that is not the right thing to do, because you go behind and ask people about what your parents said you shouldn't do. Why are they telling me not to do it? Because the parent is not giving you the reason not to do it. So what is the sexual education that must be taught and at what age?
So basically, every child from childhood should begin to understand their body parts. You know, because you're talking about sexual, you know, it has to do with the body parts. So every part of the body, the true name of the part of the body, not calling penis kokoro or calling this one mango or whatever. So what the true name and what it is, why it is part of it. And so even before the child before a girl child, for example, gets to a certain age where breast begin to develop, she must have already known that at a certain stage, and that is about the education. So the child, because you didn't become a communicator where you must have learned it about communication before you got to this, before you started working in a media firm. So it means that before the child gets to that level where that child will see those things, he or she must have already been taught, educated about those things that you are going to expect in your body, and what are those things going to be meant for, how you are going to be feeling at that particular time. And so it's important if we are able to always consistently do a lot of these things. And then so there are some things that we also need to also consistently do by engaging. It's not enough to always tell children no. It's like you said, it's good for us to also tell them why, and they decide no or yes. Do you understand?
Can you throw more light on that?
Okay, that means if I'm going to be watching a movie that has sexual content, now, the child is interested, and then we both look at it, and you now tell the child, what do you see, what do you see, what do you see? And then the child now tell what he or she, okay, what do you think this will lead to? You are engaging the child by making the child to think around the story, and then at the end of the day, okay, do you think it will be appropriate for you to go ahead with this, or it will not be appropriate? Oh, it will not be. And the child says, the child will by himself or herself say no to that. It means that so when the child, when you are no longer there, the child will be able to take informed decision not because of the decision we have taken for them. And so that is always very important. If you enable the child to take decision by themselves, it makes, decisions stay longer than them, because all the other attributes that they exhibit, whatever they do behind this, it is because of the decision they have taken themselves that they want to do this. But once they also take the decision that they don't want to do this, no matter how their mates or their peers want to influence them, they will also be influencing that person, positively, that don't need, because they are now convinced. So, but it takes time, it takes process. I just feel that parents will be patient enough to go through those processes, because you have to convince, you have to really imagine you have to sit down and tell the child, let's watch this movie together. And just like parental guidance, so you are watching this at the end of the day. But many parents will have time for that, but that would have been the excellent thing to do.
I still want to add something. That was a very wonderful, analysis you gave there. The issue of awareness of teenagers to sexual acts. I normally say something that, as a child advocate, that at the formative age, the children should be inculcated the right values. And that, I'm not blaming the parents, but most of the blame should come back to the family. Because a child that has the right attitude, values, like he said, that the child might or will be able to stand firm and inculcate the positive values you have learnt at home. But whereby there is gap, the parents are not telling them the right values. Now, some of these parents in this age, they don't have time. They get to work 7 to 9 p.m. Parents coming back home, you don't know what the children are engaging from that time. So at that formative age, starting from year 2 to 9, 10, there should be this right value inculcated in them. So by the time they are going, that right values has to do with sexual education and all that. I remember my son was telling me, he came to me at 14, that was this, he said, what did they use condom for? I was trying to find a way to do it. His friends outside, already, he went out and he told him, I said, I want to teach you now what they use it for. He said they have already told him. Now that's what I'm saying. That right attitude the parents should be intentional. In parenting, we should be intentional. But because at the time they leave home, the children from other homes, from other public homes, you are training your own children from a flat. They're lighting in a bad way. Probably they have grown-up brothers that they see them with their girlfriends, they see them scotch doing all this, and your child coming from a home, where you don't like them associating with other people, they now see other children outside them. If they have the right values, they will stand and know that, no, this is not the right thing to do. So I think at the formative, the parents have a lot to do to that.
It's very, very important because, just like you said, what you just said pointed out to what I just said earlier. Providing that education even before they are ready for it.
Yes.
Because you never can tell when they will have that education. And they will need an answer. And so if they already have an answer, like you said, that sometimes just like it has to be intentional, because for every parent, every opportunity you have around the child, you must use it to communicate a message.
Yes.
Sometimes I could just be at home and just be playing, and then I just see something. I just use that as a message from my boy and say that, okay, before you get to, there's something, things that you have not even encountered. I'm already saying it to him. So that you encounter. Right now, I tell him about courtism. He's just 9. He knows about courtism yet. But I'm telling him about courtism now, what it entails, who are those people. So that when people come to you later in your school, you can really answer. So you're already preparing him now.
It's even better because we know that in Nigeria nowadays, courtism starts from secondary school.
From primary school.
A lot of primary school pupils are primary school.
Public schools,
Maybe not in private schools, but we have cases like that. So so you will not wait again. In fact, at that time, I'm already late. But that's what maybe he has not encountered, he has not listened to. Because they do a lot of things, even among children themselves. So because of that, we always need to do this. And I also want to add, this is the most baffling thing that, like you have said, how many parents even have the right value? How many parents today? But let me not leave it at parents. How many adults today have the right value? Because if we do, you wouldn't need me to tell you that you don't have to do this in the presence of children. You understand? That means you don't have to smoke in the presence of children, you don't have to drink in the presence of children, you don't have to do sexual activity in the presence of children.
Just living in one room apartment.
Because you don't need me to tell you all those things, because because your values will tell you what to do with the child. So you don't need, because it's not my child, because you know that you'll be exposing that child to all those sort of things.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sani. Now let's go to the second topic on this segment and want to talk about bullying. Last 2 weeks now, we saw a video that went viral in one of the private schools in Nigeria, in Lagos State, that a girl was slapped.
Abuja,
was slapped many times, and she, for me, that control was top notch, and she was just sitting down without talking. She was slapped like almost 10 times.
Yeah, it was more than the bully. The video is
okay, that's a video on the screen now, and now we want to talk about bullying amongst children. What can lead to bullying? What is the effect? How can we curb this bullying? Where is it coming from? For me, if you see your friend as a part of you, you start eating him or her this way, and to the point of forcing the person to talk, forcing the person to respond to your bullying. So, Mr. Sani, you are in that field. What do you think must have led to bullying? What is the primary cause of bullying?
I think this is, I did through this.
All right, please.
I can't.
And maybe subsequently, when we want to show you, we try to blur the face of the child.
All right.
Other children that are showing.
All right, my producer, please bring the video down.
So, because...
but it's out there online, everywhere.
It's been there since. We don't continue to contribute to it.
All right.
One of the things because I've been, well, not from my mate in secondary school, but from the senior, but I see it as bullying at that time. I remember a senior spinning the belt, and I had to go with the speed of the belt doing frog jump, you understand? You know, spinning the belt, and I have to go with that speed.
That means you must be fast.
You know, and I can't do it because there are other seniors that can't, even if I want to fight that person, I can't do this. So, you know, bullying, it's something that is not just new. That we saw on the TV is not. It's one of many. It's one of many. It's been going on for years. If I can be complaining about it in secondary school almost 20-something years ago, I don't know what the elderly people will have gone through as well. So it's because of it points out to what we also call values. What are those values of these children from their homes? And then what are they also exposed to? How many of them, the kind of violence they're exposed to? How do they think they need to show their superiority over other people? You know, is it by being violent or by in a non-violent way? Even though if you want to show that I am in charge here, how do you show it to that person? So how do we parents, as adults, how do I show the child that I am in charge, I'm in authority, I'm an authority here? And so because that's what they try to do, that each time children bully one another, they try to exert their power and show to each other that, you know, this is we here, it is we that are, and you know, you said that child that you salute her for her courage to not to respond, but she can't.
No.
You know how many of them that she can't if she tries to respond. And then if you try to respond in that situation, it will be messier because others will be waiting to pounce on her.
But I think if you are being bullied, I normally say this to the pupils in the school: let them be assertive. Teach your children to be assertive. I'm not saying she should fight back, but she should come to that point because bullies, they are not that strong. They are using that, they are bullying, whatever, to cover up their weaknesses. But if you're able to rise up, but they slap you, hold her hand, throw her hand away. I'm not saying that she should get girls, depending on the home she's coming from. Probably they're taught her emotional intelligence, be able to control yourself. But it was much. She could have stand up her head and run away to go and report. Because what if they stabbed her? She would not sit down there and watch them stab. No, I do tell the kids in school, don't bully, but if you are being bullied, report immediately. Then that is why as parents as well, we should teach our children not to bully, and if you are being bullied, report immediately. So these issues, the child she should have reacted. She's too.
No, I mean we have the sense of eating them back.
No, she don't. She find a way to.
Back in that place. It will have led to a messier situation. But like I said, she could have held the hand and move away immediately. Look for an escape route. You know, those are the things we tell children sometimes. When you see this kind of situation, look for
a way out. And report.
Don't keep standing there. Because when you keep standing there, it means that you are also...
Can we minimize bullying? Because I see a lot of children, especially in public schools, I don't know, but that's where I know a lot of, I've seen a lot.
It happens everywhere, even in private schools.
Even at homes, from siblings. How do we curb it?
So that's why I talked about the way the adults interact, because children are learning from us.
Yes, at the formative age, yes.
They are learning from the way we interact, the way we also administer correction or corrective measures to each other. Maybe if you know that, okay, my mother is weak. Because my mother is weak, my father is always eating on her all the time to get result or whatever. Yeah, she thinks that, okay, when I get to the house to also, like she said, those fathers who eat some of these women, they are not strong, they just use that. Sometimes some of them become jelly when they get to real situation. You know, they are not as strong as they appear to be.
I was bullied. I was bullied when I was in primary school. That boy bullied me. If I want to cross the path, he just put his leg like this, I'll just pour on the floor. I don't know where the courage came up one day, and that was the end of the term. I don't know where the courage came, and I fought him back. I put him on the floor. I don't know where the Holy Spirit empowered me. I dealt with him. After that day, he didn't come my way again. And everybody, you see that respect. Not everybody will just be pinching you, pushing you here and there.
So it's important, and I mean, you know, for this situation too, you see that there is, I mean, the parent of the girl that was bullied also, there is a gap because you notice that the child was bullied at 2 different occasions from that video. And it means that the child didn't tell you any of this. It says a lot about your parents.
Children hardly complain.
It says a lot about your parents, because I mean, children will have come out and said, let you know.
And the social media said that the parents saw it on social media.
You understand? So if the child...
She's too gentle.
She's
too gentle.
Will I call it gentle, or maybe the child...
To me, there was a disconnection.
Some people said that maybe at home, she has been the type of person that they've just, like, she's a dumping person, dumping ground for whatever, she's nobody. So she doesn't have that, she has inferiority complex. Probably she felt this is what I'm supposed to be receiving. Because if she has built confidence in your child, tell your child, no matter how you look, no matter how you are somebody. I mean, you raise your own and tell your parents.
What's happening to you? What happened to you in school?
That's it.
And those kind of slaps wouldn't have come with ready.
No, it was much.
Do you understand? So if the child returns from home, you'll have seen a sign that something is wrong with this child.
Throughout that day, the girl will be sad.
The girl will be sad. And so if the girl could not open up the first time, could not open up the second time, then it says a lot about the parenting. I mean, the kind of parenting style the parents are using at home. And then it also says a lot of the child could not report to anybody in school. And so when we look at school bullying, we take, I mean, the responsibility almost mainly lies with the school. You know, what are we putting in place?
Yes, measures, yes.
Because you will have children around.
That bullied, yes.
And you always have those of them who are from homes, aggressive homes and the rest of that. So you must already put measure in place to ensure that when these children come to our school, they follow the style. They don't use their own to destroy other children. Because I mean, for me, I do not really subscribe to when it happens, you now begin to expel the student, you suspend the student.
Yeah, close down his school.
Those ones are not things for the school. Because that means we are shifting responsibility. Because for the child, yes, the child is the perpetrator in this case. The child needs to be corrected, yes. But not by sending the child away eventually. That is not a message.
Or closing down the school temporarily.
We're closing down the school, or maybe making the school not to. The school has to pay for it somehow. But
there were no measures, yes.
There maybe not by, maybe it could be like a huge fine.
And then, yes, to serve as a deterrent to other schools.
Yeah, because you have to look at a win-win situation. That what if we close down the school? What about other children? how are they going to continue their learning? What's going to be happening to them? What I heard is the school activity going to be disrupted. So how can we punish the school without getting the children affected? So we have to create a balance.
And along the line, I know these bullies will have recruits.
Of course. So that's how the school always have to take a stand so that you take action towards it. But but like I said with, I was listening earlier, when we talked about the orange child, getting children to fast education and, not because of some parents, some schools will just buy into it. But just the way it is with bullying too. Some parents, schools will not talk because of the parent of the child. They know that if they talk now, you want to talk. When they have money, let me say it. When you know that the parent has paid for the child for 5 years,
and they sponsor the school. But then every school should have anti-bullying rules. It's very important.
So for us as an organization, as Child Protection Network, what we're going to work, part of what we apply, apart from strengthening, building capacity of schools, we intend to also start a competition among children, and it's a competition kind of that will make them to now begin to speak about bullying. So with that, it will also help them to educate them, know better, and then we'll now begin to have, even if the schools are not taking responsibility, the children themselves will take responsibility
to report
by themselves to now begin to fish out bullies among themselves.
Yes.
So we are going to have an anti-bullying champions among the children in
That's good.
And that will make them, because once you make the children actor in their own decision, the things that affect them, then you make the work becomes much better.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kunle Sani, the National Coordinator of Child Protection Network, and we've talked about sexual exposure of teenagers. Who should be blamed? He said we shouldn't blame anybody, that we should all take the responsibility. And later on, we talked about bullying amongst children. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate your time with us.
Thank you very much.
And Lovett, thank you for coming. And we want to thank Owoyemi too. Thank you for coming, and every other people that worked with us on this production. Until next time, when we come your way, I remain Charity James, and that next time will be in the month of May, and we wish you a happy new month in advance. In 3 days' time, will be in May. Thank you for watching. Ladies, when the rule promises that we'll be giving solution to whatever we see online or offline. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Bye.